Good morning, good morning. Welcome to another video on the Luderco Arms channel. So, we did a shop tour video, and now we will do a toolbox tour. So, I have a lot of toolboxes. There's a toolbox there. That's a nut and bolt bin. Toolbox there. Toolbox there. Toolbox there. Another toolbox there. There's more toolboxes back there in the corner. Why do I have so many toolboxes? Well, mostly because I don't throw any of them away. This is the first toolbox I ever got when I was 16 years old. Now, it's got, that whole drawer is nothing but hole saws. And then bushings, collars, standoffs, all the little kind of specialty pieces, paintbrushes. That's some clamps and bigger hole saws. And then we got this little toolbox that I put the wood top on. It's got that's manuals. That's all my Dremel stuff. Bunch of hammers. Electrical stuff. This is all stuff for the polishing wheels and polish for that polisher. Then this toolbox over here. So this I have had ever since I was a teenager. It used to be on top of that first box. It's got screwdrivers, a bunch of punches and chisels. This is die grinders and all the associated stuff that goes with them. 1/2-inch drive. Standard wrenches. And I'm not loyal to any one brand. There's Craftsman in here, there's Snap-on, there's Proto, there's Work Pro, which are, these are ratchet wrenches. Yeah, I'm not gear wrenches, all different brands. Same with these are the metric wrenches. Some crescent wrenches, real big snap ring pliers. I have a lot of real big tools that I used to use when I worked field service on heavy equipment that don't get a whole lot of use nowadays. This is just all my little small stuff, air chucks, air gauges, blowguns, scissors, all that kind of stuff. 1/4-inch drive, 3/8 drive, 1/2-inch drive, electrical stuff, snap ring pliers and line disconnect kit and pin pliers, all different kind of stuff like that. Allen wrenches or hex keys, and also crow's feet and square sockets. Pliers, more pliers, impact wrench, sheet metal tools, bolt cutters, air chisel, air drill, all that kind of stuff. So then we got this toolbox. This toolbox has got some Allen T-wrenches. Most of what's in here is stuff for machine work, parallels, gauges, an indexer, another indexer, spare parts for the glass measuring things on the different stuff. These are all the parts for the indexer. A pipe threader with assorted dies, all that kind of stuff. So this funky toolbox setup is all pretty much machine tool stuff. Gauges, chuck keys. I mean, there's a little bit of everything in here. Lathe cutters, rulers, the gauge for setting up the mill, million calipers, combination squares, some large metal cutting hole saws. Over here we got dial indicators, paperwork and manuals, reamers, cutters, adapters for Morse size ends. So all the drill chucks for my lathes. More assorted lathe stuff. And more assorted lathe stuff. This box over here has got my different mill cutters that are used already, my collets, and then all kinds of just stuff you use for different things. Those are cutters for a mag drill, a bunch of sets of calipers. And then over here, there's all kind of tools. These are mostly automotive tools. There's a very large indexer for my mill. There's a spare parts for the Cherokee. That's a sliding vise, angle vise for the mill. This is spare new lathe cutters, vacuum coolant fill, bearing installers, brake line flaring tools, radiator funnels, large end mills, high-speed steel blanks, brake caliper tool, 3/8 swivel sockets, metric swivel sockets, all kinds of stuff. Flat wheels and stones for the die grinder that won't fit in the small drawer over in the other toolbox. All my grinders, hammer drills, wood carving chisels, different rigging stuff, freeze plug tool, and then of course you got all of your old wrenches that you use to cut and make stuff. I don't ever throw them out because you can always use them to cut and fabricate things. You got large 1-inch drive sockets, my 1-inch drive impacts, C-clamps, more 1-inch drive sockets, 3/4 inch drive sockets, along with a bunch of crap that I use as spacers for my press. This is my barrel clamp. So I built this. This is a solid piece of steel, and then the blocks, the oak block goes in there, and you drill the oak block to fit the barrel that you're going to clamp, and then it has that piece that goes on top of it. So you put your barrel in there, you put it in the press and put pressure on it, and the oak grips the barrel, and that's my barrel clamp. And then of course I got a whole box of oak blanks for this. It's up there behind those manuals. And you just drill them and split them like that, so you can get your barrel in there and That is the best barrel clamp that I have ever used. And like I said, it's homemade. I built it myself. And then we've got other stuff up here. So we've got walnut pieces and cut off pieces of gun stocks and stuff. I don't ever throw any of that out because you never know what it's going to match if you got to repair another gun stock somewhere. That's a box of small jigs for cutting stuff. We got large tap and die sets. A heater core for a Cherokee. This is all my welding, just welding stuff. Welding rods, more welding rods, more welding rods, my welding rod heater, oxygen and acetylene torch, a whole bunch of different end mills and crap. Some antique electrical tools. Then over here, now this toolbox does not have any tools. It's got all electrical crap in it, wire connectors and bulbs and crap like that. This toolbox has got more machine tools. We got all my different mounts, magnetic mounts and stuff for my dial indicators, carbide end mills, funky shaped end mills, countersinks, a Tapmatic, step drills, small files, metric end mills, key seat cutters, indexable carbide tools with end bits, reamers, punches, micrometers. I got a little bit of everything. So I got a bunch of mics, metal files. These are my boring bars. This has just got a bunch of plumbing stuff in it and some drill bits. That's where I keep my drill bit sets. So then all this is a lot of different stuff. We got all kinds of concrete bits, nut drivers, small reamers, tapping tools, wood files, drill bits, hacksaws, all my electrical tools, oil filter wrenches, all kinds of bits and crap, all my gauges, feeler gauges and spark plug gauges and such, assorted crap, bunch of hammers, like blacksmithing type hammers. And then over here we got all different cutters and my R8 adapters and a bunch of large reamers, mill cutters. You might be wondering, what am I doing with all of these mill cutters? Well, there's a pile of them, and most people don't have them or use them anymore. Although I have adapters so that I can use these on my mill too, and also on the lathe. There's some very large ones. I mean, these are huge. You look at the size of my hand here. So why do I have all those? Well, I went to an auction one time, and they had a bunch of milk crates full of those cutters, and they looked like scrap metal, rusty scrap metal. They looked terrible, and nobody bid on them, and so I bid like 50 cents a piece on them. I got like 4 or 5 of these milk crates full of those things. Well, it turns out they were all brand spanking new. They were still in their wax rubber coating and had been stored in these milk crates, and then the milk crates looked like somebody had dumped a pile of dirt on them. And so, I mean, it looked like rusty junk, but every one of them were like brand spanking new once you cleaned them off. And so I ended up with all those, and I've used some of them. And for the most part, they sit in that drawer because you don't need them very often. But when you do, they're there, and I have them. So, and I have a lot of them, and I got them for like nothing. So, yeah, that's how I got a lot of my machine tools. Is I bought them at auctions. If you watch auctions, and you'll find these old school machine shops, because all of my machine tools are old hand operated, and you'll find these shops, where the guy is retired or died, and they're just selling off all sudden, and you can get most of this stuff that costs you an arm and a leg for pennies on the pound when they're selling them at an auction. It's crazy. It really is. So, yeah, I got all these bins have just nuts and bolts and different assorted hardware. I got that swag bandsaw holder. Pretty cool. It works good, and I use crap out of it, as you can see by the pile of shavings under it. And then yet another drill press, because I don't have enough of them. So anyway, that's probably about enough for this video. That's all of the toolboxes, and I got to get Felix the cat out of here so he doesn't get locked up. Come on, Felix. All right, let me get Felix cat out of here, and we will. Oh, there he goes. We will see y'all in the next video. I appreciate y'all watching, and y'all have a good one.